Hello again, everybody. I am Sebastian Keynes. Welcome to the channel. This is going to be a DragonHeir Silent Gods video. As you see in the background here, I'm just trying to do some of the dailies that I need to do every day. So I figured that I would talk to you as this is rolling around. In my server, just to give you an idea, right now we're at the end of Season 2. We have about 7 days left. The endgame boss is about 67%, so he's almost dead. And what was perceived to be the new content of the season is going to be finished in 6 days, which is really disappointing. But to that extent that I originally had started recording a video, I actually recorded it in Elminster, and I was actually doing some stuff with him and showcasing him. But eventually what happened was that the video turned to how the progress had really had been for the game, and how that hero in particular, for those that have already been playing for 3 to 6 months, especially we're in the beta, Elminster is not going to add anything into your account because you most likely already have Adolphus and you already have Nathaniel. And really the only thing then worth to go get is that legendary artifact, especially if that is this is the only period that we can get it, right? So the artifact actually made those two epic heroes a lot better, and I didn't see the need for some to even go for the legendary, especially if you're just starting out. Because if you are just starting to play and the collaboration with the Dungeons and Dragons brought you into the game, you are going to need to spend to get the legendary hero, which some people don't mind, but it's just it's not worth it. All he's given us is 2 debuffs and control to immunity, which if you have the right epics and rares, you can form a composition to give you the opportunity to protect and do just as well with what Elminster would have offered you. But as I started doing research, I started toying around, talking to people, looking at discourse to see how people were thinking about the game. I can tell you that everything that I had expected of Season 2 actually ended up being disappointed. And I actually considered the season to be worse than Season 1, and I don't have any hopes for Season 3. Because like I told you, my server is about to end the season, and I know that there are servers that are a little bit ahead of us, and we have yet to heard anything about Season 3. We don't, there is a lot of guessing going on, but the fact that they haven't released any information about that can be good in terms of the development of the game or the state of the game. Our guess is there going to be new elemental types being introduced into the game, not elemental damage types, something to accompany poison, summons, and rally. That's our guess. And then there'll probably be new gear sets. They're going to say we have new content, but most likely it's going to be a storyline at the beginning that'll only last 7 days. And then there'll be some type of chief challenge again, and then you'll just have to do outer world bosses again, and grind yourself, not necessarily to farm and keep heroes and compositions together and farm gear, which is what really you want out of a gacha game, but essentially it's just to do mundane stuff every day and just keep running Goblin and keep running the domains every single day that you log on, because if you want to push up the leaderboards, and some people feel that they need to, that's all you're going to be doing. Is you're going to be using whatever stamina you can get, whether it's free to play or you are paying for it from the travel pass or the other 2 passes that are available, that you're just going to be running Goblin and domains pretty much all the time. And so in that regard, I think that that's really how they have developed the game. They have said, we don't want it to seem like it's predatory, but in a sense it is, because it's playing on your FOMO, and then if you do eventually fall on that, it will microtransaction you to death, right? Because it'll tell you, okay, get the travel pass just for $20, but you'll get all this extra stamina, and you'll get all these extra ores, and you get forging materials and stuff like that. But you have to keep in mind too that you're not keeping any of it at this stage. When reset happens, you lose it all. Even if you have a great piece of gear, you lose it all. Everything is reset. You get some creation essence back for leveling up your artifacts, but you lose it over time. So you're not gonna get to keep it all. So at the beginning, you're probably only going to be able to level what 6 or 7 artifacts, and then you're gonna have to grind everything up again to level as many artifacts as you had the previous season. So with that regard in mind, I think that as a whole, seasons are not going to work. At least in its current format, it's not going to work well for this game, and a lot of people have been quitting because of it. They don't like to have to consistently grind, and all you have to do is log in and hit bosses 15 times, or just run Vortex every day. They're calling Feywild and Pillars content, but pay close attention, especially on Feywild. They understood which ones were the most difficult waves that people were having last season, and they decided we're going to recycle those and we're just going to move them up 10 floors. Go look, you'll see what I mean. So not even taking the time to vary Feywild, they just copy paste this from the previous season, and everything has been copy paste from the previous season. And unfortunately, season 2, there wasn't even enough content for us to really enjoy what they are offering in terms of the storyline or this outer world exploration that they say is what their main thing is all about. So in that regard, when I looked at the hero, remember this all started from doing a showcase at Luminster. From looking at a hero, looking at a content, looking at what it would have to offer for us to be able to use them, it really came down to the question, is this really it? Is this really what a season is going to offer every time, every 3 months? To only have really about 14 to 20 days of new content, depending on how fast your server is going. And everything else is just being these periods of go, where you have to log in to stay on top of things, or you just hold in this hold where you're just doing essentially, I guess, whatever you want to do, but it's just all very mundane stuff. There's only certain material that you can do, right? And then they open this end game section, and it's all go. And if you even fall behind, you lose out on rewards. If you care about the leaderboard, you're going to drop. It's just you have to perennially then log in every day and do your 6 attacks. Or in the outer world exploration, you'd have to do the 15 if you had the time to form 15 compositions. Now think about how many heroes that is, and then think about all the time that you have to do that. Not only that, look at the end game boss, especially if you have not reached it. Look at the description of it. Be very careful. At least in my season, maybe they will change it, but at least in my season, in the description, it said nothing about the boss dispelling your buffs. Yes, in the description said nothing about it. Then they said, yes, at 50%, when he reaches the 50% HP threshold, he will his difficulty will be increased. But they didn't warn us that now there was going to be a stun involved. Go look in the gallery. Go look at the number of heroes available that either dispel control or they protect you against it. So you took the time, at least in my server, we had 3 days. You took the time to form 6 compositions to battle the boss. 3 days, everything switched, and now you had to go back and put in more time, modify your compositions, because now there's this additional debuff that the boss is applying that we were not warned to begin with. So there was really no chance for us to prepare for it. And that is exactly what I'm talking about in terms of the communication that the development team has given the players and then the content creator in the content creator program. in terms of what is really going on in the game and what's upcoming, and exactly to the technical point what it is to expect out of it. So, as all these other players that you have been seeing that have made comments on the game, out of all these other players, I am going to join them, and I'm going to say, this is it for me. If there would be no seasonal resets, if we will be allowed to keep our compositions as they are, maybe keep some gear, and then whatever season reset maybe just be an extension of the story, and then you can have all these different, probably new bosses, not as many, where you would have to spend 3 hours doing 15 runs, but give us something in the outer world, extend that. And I have other content creators are defending it, saying, well, the development of it would be just too much for them, right? Well, but if that's what you're committing yourself to, that's what you should be focusing on. And it doesn't seem that that's really the direction that they're going with, because there's all this mundane stuff that they're having us do in between all these periods. So it doesn't make sense to me, the seasonal aspect, just after being able to participate in it for three seasons. I did play the beta, so keep that in mind. For 3 seasons, it's just it was too dull, and to be honest with you, I was expecting more of the season 2. I wanted to see a little bit more in terms of the game, but it just ended up being copy paste from the previous season, and it really didn't didn't afford us the opportunity again, really to really put something together that would be beneficial in terms of the gameplay, to challenge you, right? That's what we play these games. We want to be challenged. We want to we want to interact with the game, not have to just battle one specifically unit, or in this case some mix of 6, and just, okay, we know how to combat the boss, now let's see how many compositions we can put together for this one specific one, or for this other one, or for this other one. So as a whole, again, sorry, season 2 was a bust. There's no reason for me to if I would have if they would be more clear about what season 3 was going to be about, I would probably be willing to go through the grind again of leveling up all our heroes again. But I have seen Goblin and Domain way too much over the last 9 months to want to do it again. And to be honest, if I want to start over again, I might as well do it with a new game and just grind that out, because then I'll know, even if the content doesn't end up being fruitful, at least I know that whatever I have developed, I get to keep, and I get to play if I do decide to continually play or just casually play. But at least I'll know that I have all those resources that I have accumulated. So for those of you that want to defend the game, that's fine. This is supposed to be a conversation. Let me know in the comments. Feel free to comment whichever angle of the argument you're in. But right now, most of the YouTube viewers are going to be the ones that are still playing the game, not the ones that have quit. The ones that have quit have already uninstalled the game, and some of them have said, for a mobile game, it does require a whole lot of time, and it requires a lot of phone usage, right? To really be able to really do anything in the game. And then if you exit out of it, it won't be running, and in most times it kicks you out. So For me, I've decided I'm gonna keep it strictly for the PC, and even then it was hard. It was really difficult with the amount of time that it required, and they're not generous when it comes to the multi battles. They did give us these 2 runs tokens, but they're not enough for what they want us to do. And I kind of get a general sense of what it was like in terms of, you know, actually paying in the first couple of seasons versus just not using cash money to advance and just see what the game gave you. And you know, I put a video out on the world explorations, and you know, you saw a lot of the content creators saying, we got 15 teams put together here, all at 22 million. Now I was only able to put 13 together as a non-spender. But then again, keep in mind, I already had a lot of the heroes and that I had accumulated from playing the game 2 previous seasons, and kind of having a general understanding of what it was going to take to tackle the bosses. For some, you know, the challenge was not there. Once you figure it out, you knew what you had to do. For my purposes, I have to figure out what the future of the channel is going to be, and what other games there are to play, right? My main game that I will still concentrate on the main channel, but in this one, I think that there are other gacha games. There's one that just launched, and there's another one in the horizon that I'm actually interested in. So I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna grind this out and see what those games are about, because I already know what's going to happen here in season 3, and I'm not interested in doing that all over again. So for those of you that are still enjoying the game, Salabi, I hope that you continue to enjoy it. I hope that the next and the upcoming seasons do offer more than this season did, and those that have decided to quit and install and just call it after this, completely with you. I understand. It just did not live up to the expectations that I had when I found it during the beta. So with that, folks, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and watching. I wish you all the best, and I will see you in the next video. Most likely another game. Well, I wonder how that's gonna go.